Welcome back to another reading and correcting with me, Kindar, the Tiger Writes, and Ty, the Tiger Supervisor. These are where I read a chapter from one of my stories and correct it as I go. If you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, and if you're looking to support me, it is on my Patreon. Today, we are doing chapter 3 of Feeling the Way. I didn't want to stop. I wanted to keep writing so fast I'd forget what I'd done. But even with all the gifts I have limits. I can't tell you where I was other than Virginia along the I-95. This time, it isn't to protect anyone. I was so tired I don't remember the exit number, the name of the town, or the motel. I do remember it was the kind of place you want you. I do remember it wasn't the kind of place you wanted to remember. I'd parked my bike, stumbled in, got a room, and stumbled into bed and into nightmares. What happened earlier in the day was the trigger, but like all of them, they quickly became a mismatch of just about all the bad things that happened in my life. No, that isn't accurate. The things that felt bad that happened to me. I rarely remember the details, for which I'm grateful. But they're always okay. Okay. This is where I get in a tad of, well, an issue, because this is where it started. This is where I started losing track of verb tense. Because my rule was anything that the story is being recounted. So when Wyatt is talking about what happened, it's in the past, and then when he's commenting on it, it's in the present. And the previous times when it happens in the previous two chapters, there's a clear division of scene, and here, like, this is clearly a commentary, or at least part of it. So, and it's not worth making a, so okay, so let's rephrase this as he's still recounting. All right, so I parked my bike, stumbled in, got a room, and stumbled into the bed and into nightmares. What happened earlier What happened earlier in the day was the trigger. But like all of them, they quickly they quickly became a mismatch of just about all the bad things that happened in my life. No. That Okay, this one I'm going to risk it. That's not accurate. This one I'm going to risk it. This one it's him commenting. The things that felt things things that happened to me which felt bad. Didn't I didn't remember details for which I was as always grateful. But I was a mess. See, and that I could live without. This is where, okay, and I was a mess. this is barely gotten 2 hours of sleep out of the 4 I need to be functional. And I did up the floor between the bathroom. Phone in hand. Staring at the screen. Number. Illegible. All right, let's see how that sounds. I didn't remember the details, for which I was grateful, as always. For which I was, as always, grateful. But I was a mess. I'd barely gotten 2 hours of sleep out of the 4 I'd need to be functional, and I'd ended up on the floor between the bed and the bathroom. Phone in hand, staring at the screen, the number illegible through the tears. I knew calling him wouldn't help. It wasn't that he wouldn't want to help. He was just not emotionally equipped. But he was the most like me in my family. I knew calling him wouldn't help. It wasn't that he wouldn't want to help. He was just not emotionally equipped. But yeah, out of everyone in my family, he was the most like me. I called him. It took 4 rings before he answered. Wyatt, what's wrong? Albert asked. I hiccuped to laugh. I'd become predictable. I had a bad day, Dad. Anyone get hurt? Not did I get hurt. The others always asked about me when I called. After the kind of day I had. Albert was the only one of my dads who understood that to me, it didn't matter how hurt I got. Yeah. Are you the one who hurt them? Yeah. I wiped my eyes. Did they give you a choice? No. It didn't matter. It didn't matter if it did, if I couldn't prevent it from happening. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. It didn't matter if it did, if I couldn't prevent it from happening. Fuck, okay, this is the end. Fuck, on bad days, watching a kid get slapped around in a movie sent me in a spiral of pain and self-pity. I heard Albert breathing. I didn't push him to say anything. I didn't call him for comfort, not anymore. I couldn't get that from him. The best I could ask for was a reality check, and sometimes that was enough. I know you tried to avoid getting into the fight. Wyatt, that's all you can do. Try to avoid it. If they force the issue, you have to defend yourself. Did you end it as fast as you could? Today didn't help. Why do you have to be like this, Dad? I sobbed. Why does it have to why does it have to fucking hurt? Why can't I be like you and the others? Why am I such a fucking freak? Couldn't you find some fucking magic to fix me? I was angry then, which wasn't the improvement anyone who knows my family thought it was. I'd feel ashamed, ashamed for losing it on Albert when this was over. You are not a freak, Wyatt. You are different. That's all. I hate it. I hate myself. No, you don't. You're just having a bad day. You know I care about you. We all do. If it gets too bad out there, you know you can come home for a while. I snorted the laughter. Then had to hunt the tissue in the room, and I had to settle on the toilet paper to blow my nose. Like that's going to help anything. I stay away from I stay away from my own sanity, Dad. You know that. In my head, he's Albert, but out loud, he's Dad. They all are. It makes for very confusing family reunions on anyone not intimately familiar with us. The rest of those just make outsiders comfortable. We try. I know. I just wish I could be like all of you and not give a shit about anything. Albert laughed. You know we care, not just about you and our families. You're simply not as destructive in how you express your emotions as we are. It feels like I'm tearing myself apart, Dad. The pain I caused those men. They asked for it, Wyatt. That doesn't matter. I should have come up with something, found a way to reach them, get them to stand down. Fuck, I should have fucking stayed out of those two's life. Lives. Eh. Whose two's life? And I gave him the short version of yeah. And I gave him the short version of what happened. Wyatt, you realize that not one of us would have let that happen, right? Right? But can you imagine what Wolfgang would have done? How about Arnold or Aaron? The image that came to mind was hilarious and how horrible it was. My dads are not nice, man, by any stretch of the imagination, but they try. And as Albert said, one of the ways is that they won't let things like that happen. They are more excessive when it involves kids because of their own abusive childhood. But if there's one trait my dad have that is that they go too far. The best scenario involving them is the fox ending up in the hospital, my dad's paying off the authorities to forget what happened. The worst case is they call Wolfgang. My brother is a beast. Okay, I've just done it again. The image that came to mind, and it was horrible in our lives. My dad's. Okay. All right. Here I think I can do some background before we go on. All right. I think here I can get away with it. Some background before we go on. My dads are not nice men by any stretch of the imagination. But but they try, as Albert said. This is a new phrase. One of the way is that they won't let things like that happen. They're more excessive when it involves kids because of their own abusive childhood. But if there's one trait all my dads share is that they go too far. The best scenario here is the fox ending up in the hospital. My dad's paying off the authorities to forget what happened. And my dad's paying off the authorities to forget what happened. The worst case is they call Wolfgang. My brother is a beast, physically and emotionally. There's a firm belief in my family that somehow Aaron and Arnold put aside their hatred for each other and to conceive Wolf together. Now, if you're in the know, you know that's possible. Back then, we didn't know. But it's the only way Wolfgang can be explained. He has Arnold's short temper and predilection for a fight, and Aaron's other lack of common sense. Until our dads got him a cadre of nannies, me and my brother's life was anyone's definition of hell. If Wolfgang had been present, he'd be paying the diner's owner to rebuild it. There would only be one casualty, but there would be nothing left of him after Wolfgang punched him through every hard surface in the building. As I said, my dads go overboard, and Wolfgang takes after them more than any of us. Feeling better? Albert asked. No, I'm sorry. I know you're trying, and it was funny, but Wyatt, that wasn't my goal. You resolved that situation without anyone getting seriously hurt. They brought that on their own. They brought that down on themselves. Albert was getting exasperated. You have to understand that. I do, Dad. In my head, I get that they got what they deserve. The rest of me says I'm a fucking monster for hurting them. I do wish you listened to your head more than the rest of you. He added something else, but it's one of those you either don't need to be told what it was or don't want to be told. I wish there was magic to get me to do it. You know there's no good kind of magic that does that. Mind control is dangerous. I know, Dad. I wasn't being serious. I was. When I was in these states, if you offered to strap a nuclear bomb to my back and promised me it would make it would take the pain away, I'd let you do it. I'm not kidding. Ah, again, like this is what makes what I'm doing here tough because I reflexively switch back and forth because I know what is narration and what is Wyatt cutting in with explanations. The problem is that to a reader, this feels utterly confusing. And I can't constantly do scene cuts. So I need to find a way of fixing it. I was. And I got in a bad enough state that if you offered to strap a nuclear bomb to my back and promised it would take pain away, I'd let you do it. I was lucky. It rarely got this bad. I was lucky it rarely got this bad. Usually, a guy in my bed was enough to get me through them. This one I'm keeping. I said I wasn't giving details. Not that I'd lie about what I do. I am an Orr, after all. Wyatt, being different, being special, it isn't easy. You know how I was treated by my family until Arnold took over. I got lucky that they finally realized my gift was something they could make use of. Yours, he trailed off. It just means you have a harder road ahead than most. But I believe, Wyatt, that one day we will all understand why he made you this way. Did he just fucking show up and tell us? Albert chuckled. You are on good terms with the Brislows, so you are in a better position to try and make that happen. I snorted and blew my nose again. I was on good terms with Eddie Brislow. His dad always eyed me suspiciously when I dropped by. He and my family have a long and tumultuous history. I don't think he'll ever I don't think he'll ever completely trust me around his son because of it. The next time I'm in Denver, I'll see if I can get Eddie to talk his dad. Talk Eddie if I can get Eddie to talk to his dad. The mighty champion in to talk his dad. Yeah, to talk his dad, the mighty champion, in communing with him. And I forgot to capitalize the H. Just he trailed off again. Just be careful you don't end up owing him too much. I heard stories of who the Brislows were before Denton erased them and made the family Brislow. It was just history to me. But my dad's are from a generation where my family and the society weren't on good terms, and Denton was at the center of it. On our side, in the end, is he's the on our side in the end. He's the reason the society even acknowledged my family exists. But there's a reason I'm the one who acts as but there's a reason I was the one acting as intermediary and not anyone else in my family. Kicking the great church out of the San Francisco metropolis gave us a certain notoriety and a whole lot of fear factor. It didn't. It didn't help that in the process we kicked the society family out too. Robert's generation and his father's were even nastier than my dad. I'll be. It's not like I'm heading there anyway. You know what the Carbonos want with us? They called, but I was tied up and they didn't leave a message. I haven't heard anything from that side of the continent. That's more Arnold's department than mine. Figured I'd ask since we're talking. You sound better. I felt morose, which was an improvement. I'd say no to that nuclear option now. A little. Maybe Paul can help more. No, Dad, he can't. He's not you. He's not my dad. I don't. But he'll understand it. But he'll understand empathy more than I ever will. Aren't artists supposed to all be about empathy, Dad? No, we're supposed to be addicts and drunks. There's a difference. I did it and no longer need it. But Paul doesn't get me any more than you do, Dad. Yes, he's empathic, but he doesn't get depression. He helped when I was younger, when I shut myself down, but now we still think it's just a question of me willing myself better. Like I wouldn't already do that if I could. I love the guy, he's family, but if I'm going to talk to someone who doesn't get me, I want it to be my father. Thank you. Thanks for listening, Dad. I should see about getting a few more hours sleep. I don't think the nightmares will come back now. Sleep well, son. Love you too. I love you too, Dad. And this concludes chapter 3 of Feeling the Way. If you are enjoying this, please leave a like. If you want to know when the next chapter is going to be up, subscribe and hit the bell. If you are enjoying the story, it is available on my Patreon, where if you support me even at $1, you can get access to the rest of it. There is no plan for it to be published anywhere at this time or anytime. Yeah. And if you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. Links are in the notes. And with that, I shall wish you a good day.